How does a nation rise from the ashes of destruction, reinvent itself after defeat, and emerge as a global exemplar of discipline, innovation, and resilience? How did generations cultivate not just skill, but character, a moral framework that shapes both the individual and society? This is Japan, a nation often admired for its technology, economy, and culture, but rarely understood for the invisible forces that sustain it, a moral code embedded in history, philosophy, and daily life. Beneath the neon lights of Tokyo, the quiet rituals of Kyoto, and the serene landscapes of rural Japan lies a story of discipline, honor, and moral steadfastness, a story older than the Meiji Restoration, older than the modern Japanese state itself. A people who have faced natural disasters, wars, and the upheavals of modernization. A people who, time and again, have rebuilt not just cities, but society, with a sense of responsibility and ethical purpose. Japan's strength is not measured solely in GDP or technological output. It is measured in the moral fabric that binds this society, a framework that prioritizes integrity, diligence, and collective well-being over fleeting personal gain. To understand Japan is to look beyond efficiency and innovation. It is to see the rhythm of a society where moral values shape actions, choices, and resilience. This is the secret behind Japan's strength, a moral code that inspires not just a nation, but the world. Long before skyscrapers pierced the sky of Tokyo, before bullet trains sped across the archipelago, Japan was a land of islands shaped by nature's unpredictability, volcanoes, earthquakes, and typhoons. The people who lived here learned early that survival depended not just on skill, but on character. From the earliest clans of the Jomon and Yayoi periods, communities thrived by cultivating patience, cooperation, and respect for the natural world. Survival was never a solitary pursuit. It required a moral understanding of responsibility to family, neighbors, and the land itself. As centuries passed, the samurai emerged, warriors whose strength was inseparable from ethics. Bushido, the way of the warrior, codified a philosophy that valued honor, loyalty, and self-discipline above life itself. Courage was meaningless without moral integrity. Power was hollow without compassion and respect. This moral code did not exist in isolation. It permeated society, influencing farmers, merchants, and artisans. Even those who never held a sword lived under the shadow of these values. Community cohesion, loyalty, and diligence were not optional. They were the invisible threads that held society together. During periods of upheaval, civil wars, feudal conflicts, and foreign pressures, these moral principles were tested, yet they endured. They were passed down in stories, rituals, and daily practice, the way a craftsman approached his work with painstaking care, the way a farmer respected the rhythm of the seasons, the way a child was taught humility and perseverance. With the Meiji Restoration came modernization, industrialization, and Western influence. Japan could have abandoned its moral foundations in the rush to compete with the West, but instead it adapted. Traditional ethics merged with modern ambition, creating a society where innovation was guided by responsibility and efficiency was balanced with honor. Even in the face of adversity, from the devastation of World War II to the catastrophic earthquake of 2011, Japan's moral roots enabled the nation to rebuild swiftly, not only physically, but socially. Integrity, resilience, and collective responsibility became the pillars of reconstruction, transforming tragedy into renewal. This history shows that Japan's strength is more than strategy or technology. It is a moral inheritance, a quiet but powerful code that shapes how a society responds to hardship and how individuals cultivate character that endures through generations. Every society has guiding principles, a moral compass that shapes thought, behavior, and identity. For Japan, 3 pillars stand at the heart of its moral architecture: discipline, respect, and responsibility. Discipline is more than punctuality or order. It is a mindset cultivated from early childhood. From the quiet rows of school children cleaning their classrooms to workers meticulously refining their craft, discipline is the rhythm of daily life. It teaches patience, resilience, and attention to detail. It transforms repetition into mastery, hardship into endurance. Respect flows naturally from discipline. In Japan, respect is embedded in language, gestures, and rituals. Bowing is not mere formality, it is an acknowledgement of another's humanity. Respect guides interactions between individuals, within families, and across society. It is what allows crowded cities to function with remarkable harmony, what enables differences to coexist peacefully, and what ensures that progress never sacrifices human dignity. Responsibility, the 3rd pillar, binds these values together. Responsibility in Japan is both individual and collective. One is accountable not only for personal actions, but for their impact on family, colleagues, and society. A single misstep is not merely a personal failure. It can ripple outward, affecting the community. This awareness creates a culture where choices are deliberate, actions are meaningful, and moral clarity guides behavior. Together, these pillars form more than a code of ethics. They form a framework for resilience. When disasters strike, these values do not vanish, they intensify. After the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, discipline ensured organized evacuations, respect fostered neighborly cooperation, and responsibility drove communities to rebuild with meticulous care. Millions of lives were saved, neighborhoods restored, and cultural continuity preserved, all through adherence to a moral framework that predates modern institutions. This moral architecture is subtle, often invisible to outsiders, but it is powerful. It allows Japan to endure shocks that would cripple other societies. It ensures that success is never hollow, that achievement is measured not by speed alone, but by quality, integrity, and long-term impact. It is in this careful balance of discipline, respect, and responsibility that Japan's true strength emerges, a strength that inspires the world, not because it dominates, but because it endures and uplifts.
Japan's moral code is not an abstract idea. It lives in the daily routines, the small gestures, and the unspoken understandings that define life across the archipelago. From morning to night, from the bustling streets of Osaka to the quiet villages of Hokkaido, morality and discipline are woven into ordinary moments. In homes, children are taught that contribution matters more than entitlement. From tidying their rooms to helping prepare meals, they learn that personal effort sustains the family and, by extension, society. Respect for elders is not a symbolic tradition, it is an active practice, listening, learning, and valuing experience. These small lessons in accountability and empathy form the foundation for moral adulthood. Schools reinforce these principles. Students clean classrooms, care for school gardens, and participate in group activities that demand cooperation. They are taught that success is not measured solely by test scores, but by integrity, collaboration, and perseverance. Learning is both an intellectual and moral endeavor, shaping not only knowledge, but character. Workplaces extend these lessons into society at large. Craftsmanship in Japan is not just about skill, but moral pride in work well done. Artisans, engineers, and business leaders alike approach their duties with meticulous care, knowing that the impact of their work reaches beyond themselves. Honesty, reliability, and accountability are expectations, not exceptions. Even leisure reflects mural structure. Festivals, ceremonies, and communal events are carefully orchestrated, emphasizing harmony and collective participation. People move through life with an awareness that their actions, no matter how small, resonate within a broader social fabric. This integration of morality into daily life explains why Japan responds to crises with unparalleled efficiency and calm. When disasters strike, citizens queue in silence, help strangers without hesitation, and rebuild communities with unwavering dedication. The moral code is not optional in these moments. It is instinctive. It is the lens through which survival, resilience, and progress are understood. In essence, Japan's society functions as a living testament to the power of moral discipline. It demonstrates that strength is not merely measured in resources or technology, but in the ability of a people to consistently act with integrity, responsibility, and compassion. Japan's history is marked by adversity. From devastating natural disasters to the aftermath of war, the nation has repeatedly faced trials that would overwhelm others. Yet, in every instance, Japan's response has been shaped less by resources and more by the moral principles that underpin its society. The devastation of World War II left cities in ruins, infrastructure destroyed, and millions of lives shattered. Yet amidst the rubble, a moral framework guided reconstruction. Discipline ensured organized recovery efforts. Respect fostered unity among survivors. Responsibility drove citizens to rebuild neighborhoods, schools, and workplaces with meticulous care. In less than a generation, Japan transformed from a defeated nation into an economic powerhouse, a feat rooted not merely in ambition, but in enduring moral principles. Natural disasters, too, have revealed the depth of Japanese societal resilience. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami killed tens of thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands more. Yet the collective response was extraordinary. Strangers coordinated relief without chaos. Communities shared resources efficiently. Volunteers worked tirelessly, motivated by a sense of duty and empathy. In these moments, moral discipline became tangible. Patience in queues, calm in evacuation shelters, meticulous rebuilding efforts, all reflecting the invisible code that binds society. Even smaller, everyday challenges are met with the same moral rigor. Floods, typhoons, and volcanic eruptions are met not with panic, but with preparation, cooperation, and respect for expertise. Japanese citizens internalize the principle that resilience is both personal and communal. It is not enough to survive individually. One must contribute to the collective endurance of society. This moral resilience extends beyond survival. It fosters innovation, creativity, and societal progress. In the aftermath of adversity, Japan does not simply rebuild, it improves. Streets are redesigned, infrastructure strengthened, and lessons documented for future generations. Progress is a moral endeavor, guided by the responsibility to protect life, honor, and community. Japan's moral code does not rely solely on inherited tradition. It is deliberately cultivated through education and culture. From early childhood, learning is intertwined with values, shaping citizens not only intellectually, but morally. Schools are more than academic institutions. They are training grounds for character. Children clean classrooms, tend gardens, and participate in team activities that instill cooperation and responsibility. Lessons go beyond textbooks. Students learn patience, perseverance, and the importance of community. Respect for others is taught alongside reading and mathematics, ensuring that knowledge and ethics grow together. Cultural practices reinforce these lessons. Traditional arts such as tea ceremony,
calligraphy, and flower arrangement are more than aesthetic pursuits. They cultivate focus, patience, and attention to detail, teaching that mastery of craft is inseparable from moral discipline. The ritualized precision of these arts reflects a broader societal ethic. Every action, however small, carries significance and reflects character. Festivals and seasonal traditions also serve as moral education. Communities come together to celebrate, honor ancestors, and care for the natural world. Participation in these events teaches social cohesion, gratitude, and the importance of continuity across generations. Children absorb the rhythms of moral life not through lectures, but by living it daily. Even the workplace perpetuates this cultural education. Apprenticeship and mentorship are central, emphasizing learning through observation, respect for experience, and moral accountability. Success is measured not just by individual output, but by contribution to collective goals. Innovation, creativity, and excellence are guided by responsibility, ensuring that progress never comes at the expense of ethics.
Media, literature, and storytelling also reinforce moral clarity. Folk tales, historical narratives, and modern literature often highlight virtues such as honor, perseverance, and empathy. Through these stories, moral principles are woven into the fabric of collective consciousness, passed seamlessly from one generation to the next. Education and culture thus function as twin pillars sustaining Japan's moral strength. They transform values into habits, ethics into instinct, and moral reflection into everyday action. In this way, Japan cultivates resilience not through coercion, but through moral cultivation, a society where strength, character, and responsibility are inseparable. Japan's global reputation for innovation and excellence is not a product of ambition alone. It is a reflection of a deeply ingrained moral code. Work is not merely a means of earning a living. It is an ethical pursuit, a demonstration of diligence, integrity, and contribution to society. Craftsmanship, for instance, is revered not only for skill, but for moral discipline. From precision in manufacturing to artistry and design, Japanese workers approach tasks with meticulous care. Each action is deliberate, each product a testament to responsibility and respect for others. This attention to moral detail transforms work from labor into a statement of character. Innovation, too, is guided by ethics. Progress is measured not only by speed or profit, but by quality, sustainability, and long-term impact. Engineers, entrepreneurs, and scientists operate within a framework of accountability that demands precision, foresight, and care. Cutting corners is not merely inefficient, it is morally wrong because it compromises the welfare of others. Collective effort amplifies these principles. Teams operate with shared responsibility, understanding that each individual's diligence supports the larger mission. Success is never purely personal, it is communal, rooted in cooperation, respect, and ethical engagement. The Japanese approach to problem-solving exemplifies a society where moral discipline fuels intellectual and technological achievement. Even globally, Japan's influence is felt not just through products and innovations, but through the ethical standards that accompany them. Reliability, punctuality, and quality control are not marketing slogans, they are moral commitments. Businesses, educators, and engineers carry forward a cultural ethos that values integrity as much as efficiency, proving that moral code can elevate society to world-class achievement. Japan's work ethic demonstrates a profound truth. The moral and the practical are inseparable. Discipline fosters skill. Respect guides collaboration. Responsibility ensures accountability. Together, they create a system where individual excellence contributes to collective resilience and global leadership. This intertwining of morality and action is what allows Japan to flourish not only in times of stability, but also in moments of crisis. It ensures that prosperity is sustainable, innovation is responsible, and society remains cohesive even under pressure. Japan's moral strength is inseparable from its relationship with nature. The island's mountains, rivers, and forests are not mere scenery. They are teachers of discipline, respect, and balance. From the smallest garden to the expansive countryside, the natural world shapes Japanese ethics and worldview. Shintoism, one of Japan's oldest spiritual traditions, teaches reverence for all living things. Sacred groves, shrines, and seasonal rituals reinforce the principle that humanity exists in harmony with nature, not above it. This moral awareness informs decisions about resource use, environmental stewardship, and communal well-being. Respect for life becomes a guiding principle, extending from the forest to the classroom, from the rice paddy to the workplace. Even urban life reflects this ethic. Cities are designed to accommodate natural rhythms. Cherry blossom festivals celebrate seasonal change, public spaces integrate greenery, and citizens engage in collective cleanups, demonstrating responsibility toward shared environments. These practices instill a sense of interconnectedness, where individual actions resonate through society and nature alike. Natural disasters further highlight Japan's moral cohesion. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and typhoons are met not with panic, but with preparation, cooperation, and ethical responsibility. Communities anticipate, plan, and rebuild with meticulous care, guided by respect for life and duty to others. Nature's unpredictability reinforces moral lessons. Vigilance, humility, and solidarity are essential for survival. Even art and literature celebrate this relationship, embedding ethical reflection within cultural expression. Gardens are designed to teach patience and balance. Poetry, from haiku to modern works, honors simplicity, observation, and moral insight drawn from the natural world. In every brushstroke, every seasonal ceremony, Japan's moral code is reflected, practiced, and preserved. Through this integration of ethics and environment, Japan demonstrates a remarkable principle. Moral strength is cultivated not only in human institutions, but in harmony with the world around them. Discipline, respect, and responsibility extend beyond society, shaping a collective consciousness attuned to both human and natural needs. In Japan, moral strength is not confined to the individual. It thrives in the collective. Communities function as living networks of responsibility, where discipline, respect, and accountability are both taught and practiced through everyday interaction. Rituals, from seasonal festivals to neighborhood ceremonies, are more than cultural expressions. They are exercises in moral cohesion. During Obon, families honor ancestors, reaffirming continuity and respect across generations. Local Matsuri festivals unite neighborhoods, demanding cooperation, preparation, and shared responsibility. In these moments, morality becomes tangible. Each participant's actions impact the harmony of the whole, reinforcing the connection between personal ethics and communal well-being. Neighborhood associations and communal organizations further exemplify this principle. Citizens participate in voluntary cleanups, disaster drills, and local governance. Responsibility is not delegated solely to authorities. It is a shared moral duty. Individuals internalize that their contribution is essential, and their absence affects everyone. Discipline is not imposed. It is understood as a collective necessity. Schools also cultivate community ethics. Students practice group responsibilities, from maintaining cleanliness to assisting peers, learning that social harmony requires personal accountability. Bullying, exclusion, and misconduct are addressed not only as individual failings, but as disruptions to the moral equilibrium of the group. Respect and empathy are reinforced continuously, ensuring that moral education is experiential, not theoretical.
Even workplaces reflect this communal morality. Teams are interdependent. Success is collective. Decisions are considered not just for profit, but for their impact on coworkers, clients, and society. ethical reflection is woven into everyday operations, ensuring that actions are responsible, measured, and aligned with long-term communal well-being. Through these mechanisms, Japan demonstrates a profound truth. Morality is not solely internal. It thrives in structures, rituals, and social norms that connect individuals to each other and to shared responsibilities. The strength of the nation arises not from isolated brilliance, but from disciplined, respectful, and responsible communities acting in concert. Japan's moral code becomes most visible in moments of crisis. Whether faced with natural disasters, accidents, or sudden upheavals, the response of communities consistently demonstrates discipline, respect, and collective responsibility. The 1995 Kobe earthquake left tens of thousands injured and displaced. Streets cracked, buildings toppled, and the infrastructure of daily life was shattered. Yet amid the chaos, citizens acted with extraordinary calm. Volunteers coordinated relief efforts with precision. Neighbors checked on each other before seeking aid. Hospitals and emergency services operated efficiently, guided by a deeply ingrained ethic of duty and care. Similarly, during the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, millions were affected by one of the most catastrophic natural disasters in modern history. Amid the devastation, citizens formed orderly evacuation lines, distributed resources fairly, and supported one another with humility and restraint. These acts were not orchestrated by authority alone. They emerged from a shared moral understanding that survival is a collective responsibility, and each individual has a role to play. Even small, everyday behaviors during crisis reflect moral discipline. Lines form quietly, instructions are followed meticulously, and assistance is offered without expectation of reward. It is a culture where patience, consideration, and cooperation are instinctive, reflecting centuries of embedded ethical teaching. Recovery itself is a moral endeavor. Communities rebuild with care, respecting the memories of the lost, integrating lessons to prevent future suffering, and ensuring that reconstruction benefits all members. Volunteers and citizens alike take pride in doing things the right way, valuing integrity over speed, quality over convenience. Through these crises, Japan exemplifies a principle rarely articulated but consistently lived. Moral strength is the bedrock of resilience. Discipline ensures order, respect fosters empathy, and responsibility creates cohesion. Together, these principles transform calamity into collective endurance and tragedy into lessons for the future. In essence, Japan's approach to disaster demonstrates that true strength is not measured by resources alone, but by the capacity of a society to act ethically, responsibly, and in harmony, even under extreme pressure. Japan's strength is not found solely in its economy, technology, or global influence. It is found in its people, in the moral code that shapes thought, action, and society. Discipline, respect, and responsibility are not abstract ideals. They are lived daily, quietly, persistently, across generations. From homes to schools, from workplaces to communities, this moral framework fosters resilience, cohesion, and progress. It allows Japan to endure disasters, adapt to change, and rebuild stronger each time. It transforms adversity into opportunity, challenge into reflection, and effort into purpose. In a world often driven by instant results and fleeting gains, Japan reminds us of a deeper truth. Lasting strength arises from values, ethics, and a commitment to the greater good. It is a legacy not measured in wealth or power, but in character, harmony, and the capacity to endure morally and collectively. The secret behind Japan's strength is not hidden in technology, infrastructure, or policy. It is embedded in the human heart, cultivated through culture, history, and daily practice. And in that moral code, the world finds inspiration, a timeless lesson that true resilience is born from integrity, community, and unwavering responsibility. If this story of Japan's resilience and moral strength inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments. What value do you think shapes a society most? Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to explore more stories that reveal how culture, character, and courage shape the world. Let's learn together and be inspired to live with purpose.